なんだ、腕がしびれてる。禰豆子、俺の妹だ。やっぱりそうか。全然妹守れてねえじゃねえか。兄貴だったらよ、守ってやれよな。今どんな気持ちだ?
Oh, okay, cool. So, name to be determined, but PiQue Takes has been the current standpoint for this. We're going into what my shirt says. A little bit of Demon Slayer.
Yeah. Demon Slayer just came out with its new film. Demon Slayer, is it just to Swordsmith Village?
Yeah, something like that. To the Swordsmith Village arc. But to the Swordsmith Village.
Yeah, I think it's just to Swordsmith Village. Yeah, that's what we went and saw today. Can it even be called a movie? That's what we will be discussing.
Yeah, because the hope was, going into it, comparing it between Mugen Train, which was a hope. The problem is, I don't think it really did. I don't think it constitutes as a movie.
It doesn't.
At all. Because Mugen Train, solid 10.
Yeah.
How about you? And we can even divulge into a little bit of Mugen Train with that too, but...
I hate giving 10s freely. I'll say Mugen Train's like 8, 8.5. Because I hold 9s and 10s really high. It was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And I mean, obviously, I could give it maybe a 9, but I don't have much to compare it to at the moment. So right now, I'm just gonna say 8.5, and that's a solid standpoint to say: is it better? Is it worse? And I have room to wiggle with.
Right, and see that's why, and I want to agree.
Yes,
I want to. However,
yeah,
it paved the way for so many others too.
True, it did change the game.
Take Jujutsu Kaisen, right? I don't think Zero would have happened without Mugen Train.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, that's what made the expectations for this one so high. Even knowing they were going to cover the previous 2 episodes of season 2. So when I heard that, I'm like, okay, it'll be fine. But what we noticed is they didn't really do that in a proper format. They took the episodes, threw it into Premiere as it was with the intro and outro and called it a day.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, we probably sat through 4 separate credits going into this movie. Like literally, credits roll in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and that's like that's like episode 11 of season 2. So credits roll, and then you keep watching. Fight ends. Credits roll again. And then credits roll on basically what was season 2. It rolls credits on season 2. And then you get the first episode of season 3. And that was good. And then you get more credits. Which by that point, we honestly weren't sure if we were going to if there was going to be anything more. Because honestly, they might have added more, but they didn't. The lights came on in the theater, and they were like, okay,
that was the only telltale sign, too, which was so crazy. Is normally you can just watch a movie, credits come on, then you stay after the credits and hope for an end credit scene. But we had 2 end credit scenes, so it's like, I don't know why.
The movie was an end credit scene. Yeah. The entire film, because, it does the final chunk of season 2, and then you could say that the beginning of season 3 was the official end credit scene. Because it's 20 minutes. That's all. That's the amount of new content you get.
Yeah. And spoiler warning, I don't think right now is going to be if you've seen season 2, but once the end of season 2 is talked about, we'll kind of segue into that. Be warned, there will be a little bit of spoilers, but it's not, I don't think it'll be crazy kind of spoilers because they didn't show much since it being the first episode. That first episode was probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. But it was just like the introduction. There wasn't a whole lot that happened except for Love Hashirabuba, which was obviously welcomed.
Yeah.
On the big screen, even, because then you could dive into those.
True.
Swim in there. You can swimming in the hot spring.
Yeah, usually, usually in a hot spring, they'll put on a lot of, like steam to cover it up. I mean, her hair was in the way.
Yeah,
braid. But then she turns around, and you see full butt.
Yeah, full ass cheeks.
Yeah, so that was one.
Yeah, it's a plus. That 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Go see it. 10 out of 10.
They wanted to make your trip to the theater worth it, and I guess you could say they did.
Yeah, I guess I hit the mark with that.
Yeah.
But that's what's weird too, because even when they cut, so like back to how it starts off, right? You get it was episode 10 and 11 of season 2. And I was gonna be fine with it if it would have been a segue.
Mhm.
But when the credits end, they didn't even segue into the next episode perfectly. It was legitimately a pretty bad cut.
Yeah.
Because you could feel the cut happen in
Yeah.
post compared to it being a smooth transition.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel cohesive. I think the reason why it drops the ball as a movie is because it was broadcasted to kind of be a movie. It wasn't a movie.
Yeah, because we already knew going into Mugen Train that it was kind of like a couple episodes of what would have been a show put together into a movie, and then they didn't make it episodes and then slap them together. They made a movie and then cut it up into episodes.
Yeah, and added some
Mm-hmm.
at that point for more of Rengoku.
True.
Which I would be fine with if they did that again. I was kind of hoping for that. They set the expectations so high with Mugen Train that I figured it would have kind of been the same, at least for the last half. Because
Yeah.
I knew for the first half it was going to be the recap. I also thought they were going to do more with the editing on that. I thought they were kind of rehash some things, add more to the fight.
Yeah.
They added like a couple frames, but nothing crazy. The audio was phenomenal though. The audio was great.
Yeah, if we're rating this on audio, it was a 10 out of 10. Like, the fighting, you could feel it through the audio.
Yeah.
Like, in the theater, it was fantastic. I loved the audio. Everything sounded crisp and clean.
Tanjiro's fingies being snapped.
Dude, his fingers, when they got bent backwards, it just sounded like somebody took, like, a bunch of celery sticks and just cracked them in my ear. It was crisp.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It made you moist, some would say.
Some would say. Quite moist.
Or cringe, depending on what you think about fingers breaking. But yeah, that scene was phenomenal. It hit me harder than it did in the show, probably because one, you're in the movie theater, so you got the big screen for it and the audio for it. So if you're gonna go see it, expect episodes, not a movie. You're not getting a movie.
No.
So if you're going for a cinematic viewing of Demon Slayer episodes, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be fantastic. If you're going to see a movie, you're gonna walk out of there pretty pissed off.
Yeah. Honestly.
Still happy. I still enjoyed going to it.
Yeah, no, it's a fun experience. It really is, especially getting ready for season 3. If you're excited for season 3 and you want a good recap, and you're like thinking you're just gonna rewatch the show to get caught up for season 3, you might as well just go, like, you can watch up to the last couple episodes right around the time the fight starts at the end of season 2. Then just go to the movie theater, because it is a better experience than you're gonna get in any, like, living room that you most likely have. It's just way better viewing experience. Then you get that sneak peek, that small sneak peek into season 3. It's great for that. It's a good hype tool, but it's not a movie.
Yeah, it definitely felt more like a cash grab than it did anything else. However, I will say another thing that kind of played to its advantages that I didn't expect was you could not have seen any of Demon Slayer since season 2 released and be happy because they did the recap of season 1, Mugen Train, and the whole beginning 9 episodes of season 2, which was pretty hype because when they came out with Lisa doing, what's it called, Gurren?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the beginning. Yeah, they give you the opening theme from the very first season as kind of like that's during the kind of the intro. It's more of a recap of everything that's happened up to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good. It sounded fantastic in the theater again. Like, it's great to hear it on those speakers. But I mean, I don't know. There's definitely a lot of things to like. I mean, about the content itself, but there's not a lot of new content.
Yeah. That's another thing to be said too, is for that season 3 episode 1, the most content they introduced was that first 15-minute interaction. Again, a little bit of a spoiler with the upper 5.
I guess, yes, the upper 5 now of the demons. Now, I will say they went nuts with that intro to the meeting. Like,
yeah, that was
the beginning of season 3, episode 1 was nuts. They, like, in the Infinite Castle, right, where the demons meet all the time. It was insane. they like had the castle moving around. They had insane, like the audio was fantastic. Once again, the visuals insane as everything's rotating and moving, and it's following the upper third, the one who fights Rengoku in Mugen Train.
Was it Akaska?
Akazi, something like that.
The Akatsuki?
Yeah, the Akatsuki. It was like AKAZ.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But either way, it's following him going through the process of just going to a freaking work meeting, and it was nuts. He was like jumping from like room to room as they're all just rotating and moving, and it was beautiful. Akaza. I knew there was a Z.
That's what it was.
It was great. That part was wonderful. The rest, it was fun. It was good. But that part, just that meeting was pretty great. I did love that.
Yeah, I think the highlights there, the meeting for sure, that whole 15-minute introduction. Inosuke on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Was pretty awesome. Love Hashira.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. Also love Hashira alluding to finding the secret item in the woods with her careless whispers as the maiden behind her has got these hearts going nuts. It's alluding to something.
I don't
think it's gonna be that. It's just a pretty funny visual trick.
I don't think
Demon Slayer's gonna pull that move.
Well, I don't think that the girl, like the Swordsmith Village girl behind the Love Hashira. I mean, I guess this is kind of stuff that if you haven't seen it, you would know. But she just kind of is like hearing this conversation that's whispered to Tanjiro by the Love Hashira, and she just kind of is like flustered, kind of like little hearts floating around her. I just didn't kind of get what they meant. If she was flustered because of
how they're talking,
yeah, like a girl whispering in a guy's ear. If it's what it's about, because obviously she didn't hear what was whispered in his ear. Otherwise, why would you whisper it in his ear? Or if it was what was mentioned, which was a way to gain power in some way from the Swordsmith Village. I don't know.
Or if it's just Tanjiro looking like an absolute hunk over there because
and it could be.
Yeah, because he looked pretty jacked when it got in the freaking sauna or the hot tub, whatever it was. What do you call those?
It was a sauna.
Hot spring.
Oh, hot spring.
That's what. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell is the name? Yeah. So that, I think the biggest takeaway from there too was that whole introduction, especially the Inception feel. How he walks up to the wall and then it lifts him up into the air instead as a skyscraper rising.
Yeah.
That was great. Him knocking the fucking second dude's jaw off.
Yeah, it's just like a wipe of his hand.
And you got like the blood dripping in like a mist and drips too. It looked awesome.
It did look fantastic. So I don't know. That's the thing. It was good for what it was, but yeah, I honestly don't know much else to say. I mean, anything more is just straight up telling you what happens, like spoilers. So
yeah, and I will say like to there's no comparison to be made, which is sad because I was hoping to have a comparison made. This initially was hopefully gonna be like an hour-long thing.
Yeah.
However,
no, we were gonna sit here and we were gonna compare Mugen Train to the Swordsmith Village, and we were gonna just look at every little thing, different scenes that we liked, and how they compared to one another. And we were ready. We were excited for that, but we didn't get any comparison.
Yeah. So, yeah, for this one, if you love Mugen Train, you want a movie, you're not gonna be happy. You're pretty displeased. You're gonna give it. I would, as a movie, because it's not, but as a movie. I mean, that's just like a 4 out of 10 because how to cut everything. Yeah. It's rehashed content. The only cool thing about it was the audio design felt like it was upped from before.
Yeah.
But visuals weren't fixed or edited in any way.
Yeah, they weren't edited. They're good to begin with. They didn't need a lot of editing. What needed editing was the episodes into one another to make it a cohesive film. But they didn't even do that.
I was going to say, because at that point I could rate it higher.
Yeah.
If they were to make those first 2 episodes flow as one episode, and then have it do the sequence where when they're like beheaded and they're having the flashback, have that be its thing, and then immediately segue into the dude finding them after they're hugging each other. It could have moved so fluidly, but some jackass in the cutting room was like, "No, just throw the episode into the timeline and call it a day.
They'll find it charming. I didn't. I did not enjoy that. I didn't like having to sit through credits so many times in
Yeah.
film.
Dude, it was so bad. If there's downtime for me to dick around in the theater, it's not a movie. It's not a
No.
well done movie.
Yeah.
Now, as episodes go, the last two of the second season were already hype as hell.
Yeah.
So if you like those, you're gonna like this. You get to see that in a cinematic view. It was awesome. The newest one, I'm gonna say one thing with it.
Okay.
I think I want to know what they're doing with their budget, just because they did a lot more chibi faces that obviously
True.
don't cost as much to
I
make.
did wonder about that. I did notice that there was a lot of chibi. It might be just because it's the start of it. It's the hype was up here. We were in the middle of a huge fight. Seriousness was at an all-time high for a couple episodes, and then they're starting the next season. They want to start low and slowly build up the pressure, the epicness, whatever, and they want to start with chibi faces. Maybe that's what they're going for, but yeah, I did notice a lot of those.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the reason for that is one, to kind of have a nice little goofy introduction after what craziness happened in those
Yeah.
other episodes, but also I'm hoping it's so they can dedicate a lot more of their money
To later.
to like how they kind of showcase a hint at what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
The big fights that are going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
Those didn't look CGI'd via
Yeah.
what they showcased.
Yeah.
And also the upper four, the
Mhm.
teapot dude, the pot dude.
Yeah, he was a 4.
Yeah, it was CGI pot, which threw me off, and I'm like, shit, no.
I did
Like-
catch. Yeah, I did catch. It did kind of stick out with the eyes a little bit.
Yeah, so initially worried. Then there was CGI with him coming out of it.
I saw
But
his hand
that-
coming through the liquid, but then when his hand came through, it was 2D.
Yeah, so that worked. That one looked pretty
Mhm.
good. When the vase was standalone on the floor, I'm like, oh no, worried that's gonna be another Mugen Train amalgamation. It's gonna look really weird and goofy.
Yeah.
But no, his character design looks awesome. So I'm hoping, now that we've seen a little bit of CGI in it, right, already,
Yeah.
but we've seen more chibi faces, I'm hoping that means that they're gonna either A, utilize more budget for the 2D,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 3D is gonna look better than it did before, which, not to say Mugen Train looked bad, but the initial introduction of Mugen Train was kind of jarring.
Yeah.
When it's just his head on that weird snake-esque motion on the train.
Yeah.
Everything else is good when there's a mixture of the hand-drawn and the 3D. So hopefully the 3D's done really well, which I assume it will be.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying Mugen Train was fantastic. Give it an 8 out of 5. It had its areas to
8 out of
improve.
5, dude,
I
let's
mean,
go! Let's go!
8.5 out of 10, yes. 8.5 out of 10. Because it needs some room. I don't know. Like, yes, the animation there was rough. Mugen Train also just kind of... I don't know. I thought it was good. I just think that there's definitely room to improve. I'm not the best at being able to point all those things out, but definitely the 3D animation could be improved upon, and I think that would go a long way for me, because that was just jarring for a bit, and then just... Yeah. I can come up with some more ideas. I think I could have been able to compare it a bit. If I had something to compare it to, I'd be able to explain better, but...
I mean, I guess we could go the chunks, right? Like the CGI comparison we kind of have.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's looking better even with a TV show. Without
Yeah.
the movie budget, they're already looking better with it.
Yeah. I think the audio was better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Music-wise throughout, because, anime likes to have in its fight scenes a little bit of soundtrack. Soundtrack I thought was better in the fight scenes in this. But, I mean, it's Season 2 compared to the beginning of, I guess, technically Season 2. I don't know. It was just the end of the season. It was a bigger fight. They wanted to put maybe a better soundtrack into it. That, and then the audio was fantastic with the fight.
Yeah. Which, speaking of that, I gotta give them credit too. They did it in the show, obviously, because again, it's just like a copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
But in the theater, it was way more hype, and I still love this.
Yeah.
Is after that fight initially ends,
Mm-hmm.
how you are having the audio through Tanjiro's ears.
Yeah.
So you have Uzi,
Yeah. The friggin' sound.
the sound Hashira.
Yeah.
Dude, it ain't over, dog. It ain't over.
But it's like...
Yeah, he's like, did we win? What's he yelling about?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
And then just explosion, and then right after the explosion, just like the episode had, just goes to credits, and you just see the fire just take over half the village and slowly burn out. It looked great, but more credits. They could have taken the credits off and just had us stare at the fire go down. I would have been okay with that.
Right? It was weird, man. It was weird. Still good. I still think it's worth the $9 that it cost. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was worth the money.
Yeah.
I do wish they would have done a better job splicing it together, so it didn't feel so weird.
Yeah.
But it was still good.
Yeah.
You know, I think I still do think it was a cash grab for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely though does raise the hype because April 9th is when the show begins to come out, right?
Yeah.
Which, speaking of, if they just release the first episode, I'ma actually be pissed. Because we just had that in the movie. Yeah. Release the first 2 for the love of God. You have the first one, and we know you didn't put much effort into it because you copy and pasted the shit.
True.
So just take that, push it somewhere else, give us the second episode all at once, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be fine. Yeah. All's forgiven if April 9th there's 2 episodes. If there's 1, Demon Slayer can kiss my ass.
Okay, you heard it here. That's our thoughts on Demon Slayer to the Swordsmith Village. You got your pros. You got the sound. The visuals look great, but I mean, that's just to be given at this point. Sound, visuals. What other pros do we think at this point? You got to see the
fight again.
The fighting again was great. The Love Hashira. Got to see her in a hot springs.
Kick her on there.
Nice.
Oh, we get a little taste of the Scarface dude too. Almost forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like the positives. A lot of it just came from, hey, we're into a new season. We get to see that a little early.
Yeah,
that was positives. Negatives, they did not do great editing. It didn't. Most 95% of it felt like content that had already been seen. What other negatives do we have?
The fact that they marketed this as a movie.
True, they didn't market it. They marketed it like they did Mugen Train, and I mean, I guess even with Mugen Train though, you didn't. It wasn't recapping anything. It wasn't using any previously seen footage, and so we knew that going into this, which is you just didn't think that it would be as much as it was.
Yeah.
So
that was definitely negative. Also, mind you, just to preface, we did see this subbed. We didn't watch the dub.
True. So
the audio could be different. I don't know how the voice actors did. I never watched season 2 dubbed. Also, I don't really have a preference. Usually, if it's good, it's good. You know.
Yeah.
I like to pick which ones I like better, though. Too. Like usually, it's voices. It's never as a whole. I choose one or the other, unless one of them is really bad.
True.
But usually, it's like, oh, like I like them both. However, this voice I like more. Like for instance. Maybe a hot take. I think Tanjiro's voice in the English is better. I think I don't love his in the Japanese as much. However, I like Zenitsu's a lot more in Japanese.
Sub,
yeah, in sub it's way better. Inosuke, I love them both, mainly because the English dude's just well known. You know,
True.
I love the guy's voice, and in Japanese the dude nails it too. I love his. It's a lot more harsh, which I like. Kind of fits when he has a boar head on. You know, it fits. So yeah, as far as the dub goes, we can't comment on that for sure. So for the upcoming season, there's some characters introduced, and I really hope the small swordsmith dude sounds good in the English because in Japanese his voice was awesome.
Yeah,
his cadence killed me.
Yeah, true. It was pretty good.
We will have to find him and give him a scolding. A scolding. Like, oh, you're not mad at me? He's like, no, it is the sword maker that caused the problem.
True. Pretty brutal. I do remember loving that in the manga is how they all just the sword maker hates Tanjiro for breaking his swords, but everyone in the village is like, yeah, that guy sucks. He couldn't make a freaking sword. That guy stinks. Let's go kill that guy.
2 of his have broke so far? What a dweeb, dude.
Yeah, so that was fun. But all things considered, there's our pros, there's our cons.
Yeah.
But if you've seen it, put your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd like to hear because I think, you know, obviously it's our own PiQue take, but it might not be your take. So who knows?
It's true. So what would be the final rating? And I think we have to do this separately, as a movie and as a.
It is an experience.
As an experience.
Okay. As an experience, I give it a 9 out of 10. Mm-hmm. I think it was a fantastic experience. I think it was better than Mugen Train. If you haven't seen the end of season 2. and you just want an awesome fight that takes place over a long period of time, good story, that you've already seen you've already seen all the info coming up to that point, so you don't need the whole movie to build up to a fight. You just get awesome action in a theater experience. For me, 9 out of 10. What do you think?
I would give it, and I think it's going to depend on if you go by yourself or somebody else.
True.
Because with the boys,
Yeah.
I saw like 99.5. Because cool, you can kind of be like, yo, dude, that was crazy.
Yeah.
You have a little more of the interaction. And not to mention, I mean, again, the audio. I can't stress that enough. The audio was so good in the theater. And seeing that fight scene cinematically was amazing. I would give it like, I think a 9 does fit though.
Yeah.
As an overall, because again, like you said, giving it 10 is hard.
Yeah, because a lot of the legwork was not part of the experience. The legwork leading up to it, it didn't provide it. So I mean, yeah, it was a great experience, but I just don't think it was like a whole arc on its own that a normal you'd get in a normal experience with it. Going to a theater.
Like for instance, if you were to give an experience rating for Mugen Train, if you can't give the movie itself a 10, I'd give the experience a 10. Yeah. Because you get a whole new segue. Oh yeah. You get the audio, you get the visuals on the big screen, everything like that. You can't go wrong there.
I can give it Mugen Train 10 out of 10. Just fun experience, especially because we saw that one together and it was fun.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. We were laughing our butts off at the Patrick run that Inosuke does.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. As far as a movie goes, though, for the Swordsmith arc, God, I gotta because it's not a movie, I gotta give like a 2.
Yeah, it's low. It's in like that 2 or 3 range. Because I mean, it was still fun.
Yeah.
But it's not a movie because you've already seen everything that it's got to give. So
yeah, and I think I could totally. I could never give it a 10 just because what's there, right? As a movie, I never could. Not even a 9, not even an 8. I could give it a 6 if they would have done the transitions right.
Yeah,
that's it. Would have done that. I'd be like,
the transitions are what kills it. It really is. And we've beaten that horse already. We've been talking about the whole time. Transitions were bad. It's not a movie. It's a series of episodes slapped together. Yeah.
So yeah, I think. What do you think there? Because I think 2 out of 10.
I'm fine with 6. I'm fine with slapping it with a 2 out of 10 and just giving that to the Swordsmith Village. But remember, the experience itself is fantastic. Movie that you might want to. Like, cause I don't even know if there would be a way to actually like watch it by itself later. Like, I bet it's just gonna be like they're never actually gonna put it out on Crunchyroll as the way it is in the same cut. It's just gonna be they're gonna put the next episodes 1 and 2 and 3, and then just go on into season 3. But they're never gonna actually. You're not gonna see this series of the clips put together the way it is, probably except for in theaters, I assume.
Yeah. No, straight up. I think you're 100% right there.
So, yeah. Like I said, let us know what you guys think. It was a good time.
Yeah. Fun time. Let us know what you guys thought. If you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, let me know if you're going to go see it. Also, a couple ideas for the next time we do this, because this should be I'm just like a bi-weekly thing, because we do the gaming content still. And this, now if we have short ones we can throw in, we can try to get a couple in the week, like little mini ones. Yeah. Mini-sodes. If you will. And then we'll have longer ones. This one's going to be pretty short, 30 minutes. But in the future, we hope to get ones that are like an hour and a half podcast style, just back and forth banter.
Yeah, because I mean, we have differing takes on a lot of things that provide a lot of good content and conversation.
Yeah. So a couple ideas we had thrown around, basically 3 at the moment. Pick the ones you like for people on Spotify. I don't know if there's a way to leave comments on Spotify because I haven't used that in a creator platform. So go to the YouTube channel and leave a comment in there if that's the case. But the options I'm kind of thinking of are we had our we'll discussion of the Griffith to Irvin comparison kind of thing.
A character comparison. Look at kind of like the choices made between characters that could make them similar and different.
Yeah, and that could be a big one.
Yeah, it could be a fun conversation. I'd like to have that.
And then so that'll happen regardless at some point, right?
Oh yeah.
But for the next one we have that since it's fresh and new and I have to watch it still. The newest Attack on Titan movie.
True.
That just dropped.
Yeah, which in fact is a full hour of new content. You can't beat that.
Yeah, so we can go through that, give that a rating as a whole. Kind of see how it's segueing, how it compares to the manga.
True.
As well, because that one, I know we both read up to that point.
Yeah.
So we have that. And one thing we'll do, because I know Payne really wants to do this with me as well. I'm reading One Piece.
Yeah.
I'm not watching One Piece, but I will probably watch like the fight scenes, big scenes like that. But I am reading it. Chapter 80 currently. I don't know where I'm going to be in a week, but we're gonna have that as a little topic point too, as a newbie
So
getting into that franchise.
yeah, I think what we'll do is once he gets done with Arlong Park, we will make another video where he can rate One Piece up until Arlong Park, and we can see what a newbie to the series thinks, and his highs and his lows, and get a fun perspective. The other one that I think would be fun, and you can say whether you like it or not, is when is fan service too much?
Yeah,
When does it work? When does it not? Because I think that would be a fun one.
that one we seem to have pretty similar takes too, but that's when we can we can find a lot of examples where it does fit and where it doesn't.
Yeah, we could bring up we could go through some I don't know, just kind of go through maybe my anime list and just scroll through and see which anime were hey, that had fan service, but I think it was tasteful.
Yeah,
that one had fan service where it ruined the experience.
That'll be good. And then you'll get probably a 20. No, I'm not gonna say that. You'll probably get a 5-minute long rant from me about Black Clover because
he's got thoughts.
I've got thoughts there.
But either way, thank you guys for watching this. It was fun to go see the movie. It was fun to kind of put our thoughts together and share them with you guys. So let us know what your thoughts are, and we hope that we can see you guys here on the channel a lot more in the comment section. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.